Hello. Welcome to the 17th part of the I'll be taking a break for personal reasons. At the beginning of this part we see that she screams and says, "No way. You really possess such power." Ilho says, "That was incredibly destructive. I wouldn't expect any less from you. Things would have gotten bad without your help." System says, "Congratulations. You've cleared the 45th floor's trial of space and time with flying colors. The next floor's trial will soon begin." Ilho starts to disappears. He says, "Then I'll go back to climbing the tower." Ilho says, "All right, stay safe." The dungeon starts to crumble. Ilshin says, "Shall I head back as well?" System says, "Returning to reality." He is seeing God of Balance's scales. A dead god's legacy. 2,220,000 years old. Remark sealed. He thinks, "I don't know what this is supposed to be used for. I'll leave it with Kong Wu for now. He must know something since he's a regressor." News reporter says, "Next up is news about the Hunter War. The player's runner-up was announced today. The Korean representatives will be Director Gal Jung-hyuk, Hunter Song Mina, Song Miri, Stephen Choi, and lastly, the Sword Phantom and Ilshin. Hunter Gal Jung-hyuk is said to be attending as the director as he's still recovering from the shock of having lost his soul armor. Ilshin says, "Makes sense. I didn't expect my name to be on the list." He thinks, "I guess it's to be expected since I've performed better than a normal S-class hunter would. Huh? But I need to prepare for the Festival of the Gods. It'd be better to send my clone there since he likes fighting." Ilshin says, "Anyway, it'd be nice to know when I have to fight the Emperor. Don't you agree, stalkers?" Tears of the Bountiful Abundance says that it'll take anywhere between 2 months and 6 to completely absorb the divine power of 2 advanced class gods. He says, "Nice to know." Soundless Nightmare advises you to get rid of the annoying Emperor and to hurry with the god promotion. Ilshin says, "I have to fight the Emperor no matter what, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna figure out the god promotion on my own somehow, so mind your own." Someone knocks on the door. He thinks, "Who could be visiting me this late?" Ilshin says, "Come." He says, "Who? Hyojio and Miri?" Hyojio says, "Mr. Ilshin, we have a favor to ask." Ilshin says, "What? Is Bongsik doing that?" "Yes. All the time," he says, "with his teleporting skills?" She says, "Yes. He keeps asking me out, but he's so arrogant and annoying. I don't like him, so I told Miri about it, and she sighed that you'd take care of it for me." Ilshin gets angry and says, "How dare he? He must have lost his damn mind. I only have to tell him to cut if out since he's my follower. But he needs a good beating first." A warning message appears on their watches. It says, "The appearance of 3 high-risk S-class monster, calling for reinforcement of S-class hunters and above." Hyojio says, "3 S-class monsters?" Miri says, "Let's go." Ilshin says, "Wait, it's right in front of my house?" Bongsik is fighting the monster. He says, "My advantage is that I'm faster than anyone." Reporter says, "Urgent new. There are S-class monsters all over Seoul at the moment." Bongsik says, "Hyojio, please watch to see how handsome and strong I am." Ilshin gets angry and says, "His face is just begging for a knuckle sandwich, huh?" He says, "Miri, can you lend me your helmet?" She gave him her helmet. Ilshin says, "If it's just 3 I can take them down on my own, so stay here." Bongsik says, "I'll kill you, you monster." Ilshin destroys the monster. Bongsik is really surprised and thinks, "The monster suddenly." Ilshin punches Bongsik in the face. He says, Who are you? You dare attack the dominator of space." Ilshin thinks, "You dare hit on my student?" He says, "I'll let you know after I beat you up for a bit." Bongsik uses teleportation. He thinks, "Where am I? I was in such a hurry to get away that I didn't even decide the coordinates before activating the skill." "Huh." He says, "K-Tower? I'm 10 kilometers away from where I was just now. My. I've teleported so far. I've improved yet again. I'm starting to be afraid of my own talent." Ilshin appears there and says, "Bongsid, you're still in your cringe era." He says, "You followed me all the way here? Who are you?" Ilshin removes the helmet glass and says, "It's me. It seemed like your obsession with my student, Hyojio, was crossing the line. So I wanted to have a conversation with you, but then some monsters appeared. Bongsik says, He says, so why don't we have a conversation? With my 2 fists in your face? Bongsik uses teleportation. Yu Ilshin says, he's making things annoying for me. After that we see in the headquarters they are monitoring the monsters. They say, things are going more smoothly than I expected. It's reported that Hunter Stephen Choi was there first with his teleporting skill, and one mysterious man in a helmet. Then those 2 are taking care of the monsters? Yes. They've already moved on towards the National Assembly building. Bongsik is running, and Yu Ilshin is after him. Yu Ilshin says, it's no use running. You need a beating to cure that mental illness of yours. Bongsik says, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. The monster appears above them. Monster punches them. He barely dodges that and thinks, barely managed to dodge using my skill. Is Yu Ilshin dead? Yu Ilshin is fine and says, I see. You're begging for a beating too. Yu Ilshin uses a Skillshare super strong body. He says, I'll kill you first before that pervert then. Yu Ilshin jumps and punches the S-Class monster. Monster gets destroyed. Reporter says, S-Class monsters made a sudden appearance in the Heart of Seoul today. But the S-Class hunter Yu Ilshin has successfully eliminated these threats, attracting the attention of the World Hunter Association. Someone calls him and says, Mr. Yu, you got the Korean beef set I sent, right? I'll be looking forward to your services in the future too. He says thanks. You didn't really need to do all this. He's treating me so much differently now that I'm in the top 10 in the Pizang category of novels. He says, no, I do need to. I'll prepare a bonus if you reach first place too. Yu Ilshin says, a bonus? I'll do my best. He thinks okay. 5 chapters complete. Yu Ilshin says, then I'm sending the files now. He says, okay. Thank you. Yu Ilshin thinks, after becoming an intermediate class god, my writing speed has gotten surprisingly fast. Divinely fast, actually. His niece says, you must be a popular author now. I'm going to tell my friends. He says, yeah? Then bring all your friends together. I'll sign. System says, 2 Clees have been added as a reward for obtaining 3,000 S-Class sacrifices and increased writing skills. S-Class possessing Transcendence potential sacrifice, 3,000 out of 10,000. Additional skill writing, 850. Yu Ilshin thinks, I do remember reaching 3,000 sacrifices after killing that ogre. But what's the writing skill thing? And more clones? System says, you have the ability to summon the 2 clones at once. Yu Ilshin gets excited and says, 2 at the same time? Let me give it a go right now. He uses the multiplying thumb of God. His niece says there's 2 uncles now. They both look a bit younger than him. Yu Ilshin thinks, they both look exactly like my younger self. His niece gets excited and says, whoa, there are 2 more of you now. Do you have this kind of skill because you're an S-Class? Yu Ilshin says, yeah. One of them is Angry Yu Ilshin, and the other is Writer Yu Ilshin. He says, destruction. Yu Ilshin says, what? What? His stomach makes sounds. His niece says, Uncle must be hungry. Uncle, let's go eat burgers. Uncle's grumbling stomach sounds like a tank. Yu Ilshin says, should we? Let's go get burgers. They are eating. Yu Ilshin thinks, the one with the mole on his forehead I'll name Sam Shin. The one with the pin I'll name him Sashin. Sashin went back into my body saying that he's busy. Sashin says, you'll be able to see me much more often once Yu Ilshin's divine power is higher, young lady. Yu Ilshin think, what kind of abilities do these 2 have though? I did get a status window after naming them, but a stats window appears saying, Yu Sam Shin, the seed of the god of destruction, unknown years old. Remark always saying destruction. Yu Sashin, the seed of the god of creation, unknown years old. Remark always holding a fountain pen. Yu Ilshin thinks, why are these seeds of the 2 most powerful gods my clones? Reporter says, monsters assumed to be S-Class have appeared in Gangdong Station. Civilians nearby, please evacuate. Someone says, what? Another one? Is the world coming to an end? A really big monster appears in the restaurant. Yu Ilshin says, Sion Jian, you're not scared, right? She says, yeah, I have you uncles. Yu Ilshin says, all right, wait just a bit. We'll take care of them right away. Yu Ilshin tries to use God's crushing forefinger. Samshin uses destruction first. The monster gets destroyed. Yu Ilshin is really surprised. Everyone is really surprised and says, that little kid just killed the S-class monster. Where are the other hunters? That person is the S-class hunter Yu Ilshin. But why is he with that monstrous kid? He says, destruction. Everyone gets scared and says, scary. Is he gonna eat us too? Yu Ilshin thinks, this might be bad. Yu Ilshin says, everyone. He's a student I teach. He won't harm you. Everyone runs away. Yu Ilshin thinks, what but was that earlier? He used the ray of destruction and ate the monster. The 1,000 blades that cut all say that you should get rid of guys like this while they're still young. Soundless Nightmare says that you should kill him too. Bountiful Abundance says that he may be the seed of the god of destruction, that you can raise him to be a good child. Yu Ilshin thinks, she's right, but it'd be best to get rid of them. He starts to disappear. Yu Ilshin says, he's disappearing? His niece says, what's wrong, uncle? He touches her head. She says, okay, little uncle, come back soon. Yu Ilshin says, what? How are they communicating? Yu Ilshin gets back home. He thinks, Samshin's ability is pretty powerful. I think I can win against the Emperor if I utilize it well. Yu Samshin. Additional remark: Seonjayan's kind heart is getting rid of the evil energy from within him. He now likes the burgers that Seonjayan recommended to him. Try feeding him more than 10 burgers a day. He might become a lot kinder than you would expect. He thinks, unlike the stalkers, worries. Samshin's evil energy is being purified by Seonjayan. On the other hand, I don't know anything about Sashin's abilities. I am suspicious of the fountain pen he had in hand. System says, new quest has been created. Quest. Write a blockbuster feel awesome enough to shake up the entire great universe. Let's bring in some future followers onto your side with your soulful acting. Yu Ilshin thinks, did I read that right? Write a what? System says, teleporting to the Great Space Empire fleet. They say, you're finally here, God Yu Ilshin. Yu Ilshin says, hi? They say, is that the god that saved the Empress? Yes. Apparently it is. He's the only person who can substitute Sir Ilho since he's in the Warrior's Tower. It's an honor to meet you. This film is a project to spread the knowledge of your accomplishments. But Sir Ilho is at the Warrior's Tower, so. He thinks, so I'm supposed to fill in for Ilho? Yu Ilshin says, nah. I'm Buse. Look for someone else. He grabs his arm and says, no. Don't be like that. Just this once, please. I swear on my name that I'll make a superstar out of you. Yu Ilshin thinks, superstar, Mae? I'm not gonna fall for that. Yu Ilshin says, if you don't let me go right now. System says, the citizens of the Great Space Empire are all excited that you were cast as the protagonist of the film being made by the Empress. Your potential follower count has increased. Number of potential followers within the Great Space Empire potential fans. 252,528,838,404 increasing. Yu Ilshin says, Director, what's the population of the Great Space Empire? He says, a bit more than 50 trillion at the moment. Why? Yu Ilshin thinks, an entire population of more than 50 trillion. I already earned 252 billion potential followers just from the news that I was casted. If I make the fans of the Great Space Empire say, I believe in you. Yu Ilshin. Yu Ilshin says, let's do it then. Let's sign a contract right away. I'll put my entire body and soul into this. I'll be able to meet my necessary follower count for the Good God promotion. The 17th part of the I'll be taking a break for personal reasons ends here. If you want to see more, please subscribe and like. And if you want to support me financially, you can join my channel membership or Patreon only for $1. Patreon and Discord links are in the description if you want to support me. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks for watching.